Welcome back to the 14th Jaipur Literature Festival here at Diggi, protected by Dettol. We're absolutely honored to present the annual Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award for Poetry. Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia was a freedom fighter, poet, educationist and social reformer. His poetry was incredibly intense, evocative and sensitive. To tell you more about the session, please welcome Siddharth Sethia and Jaiprakash Sethia, the founders of the Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award for Poetry.
It is a great pleasure and matter of pride that Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Foundation has had an auspicious long association with the Jaipur Literary Festival. I am highly obliged to Sri Sanjay Roy and the honorable jury headed by Srimati Namitaji Gokhale, Srimati Nirupama Dutt, Sri A.J. Thomas. Without their constant guidance and support, it would not have been possible to select the Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Poetry Prize winner. Srimati Amikaji is an eminent writer and extraordinary poet. It gives me immense joy and pleasure to convey that Sahitya Akademi New Delhi has brought out a monogram of Mr. Sethia's contribution to the Indian literature. They have also released the Kannada translation of his prize-winning book Liltas. Two prominent timeless works of Mr. Sethia, Dharti Dorari and Pathalar Pithal have touched the hearts of 15 crore people across the world. I am reading Mr. Sethia's Hindi poem नहीं थी कबीर की चादर में कहीं कोई गांठ, खुले थे चारों छोर फिर भी संध्या भोर टटोलती रही बिकतों की भीड़, कि होगा कहीं चिंतामणि रत्न, नहीं तो बाबा काहे को करते इतना जतन.
I am reading the English translation of the poetry The Mantle of Kabir. There wasn't any knot whatsoever in the mantle of Kabir. All the four ends were free. Still, from dawn to dusk, the crowds of devotees were recklessly groping, hoping to find some precious ruby. Or else why would the saint guard it so meticulously? I am reading another poem called The Rag and the Nath. A flute has 5 holes, but a conch just one. That's the difference between the Rag and the Nath. One is Gita's manifest, the other Veda's incarnate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaiprakash ji. Thank you so much, Siddharth Sethia, and of course to the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Foundation for setting up this award. Jaiprakash ji, it's absolutely wonderful to see you out here, out of hospital, and wishing you a long and healthy life. May I please invite co-director of the Jaipur Literature Festival, Namita Gokhale, to say a few words about the prize. Namita is also a member of the jury of the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award for Poetry.
It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be associated with the inspirational Kanhaiyalal Sethia Prize over the last so many years. We announced this prize at the Jaipur Literature Festival, and this year the winner is somebody whose work is very, very, very close to my heart and my mind. The poetry of Anamika is something that reaches out at a visceral level. It is so subtle, so full of nuance, and it transcends the language in which it is written. So, although the Hindi is so beautiful, so evocative, but it reads as well in translation. It carries through to other languages and other cultures. So I want to express my gratitude to all those who have made this very, very important prize for creative people available to them as a means of encouragement and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Namita Gokhale, for setting the stage and putting into context this very important award for poetry, the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award. It's my honor now to invite A.J. Thomas and Nirupama Dutt, members of the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award jury, to say a few words and read the citation. A.J. Thomas is a poet, writer, translator, and editor with more than 25 books to his credit. He was editor of Indian literature and now serves as its guest editor. He taught English in Benghazi University in Libya from 2008 to 2014. He was also a senior consultant at IGNOU. He is the recipient of Katha Award, AKMG Prize, and the Vodafone Crossword Award, a senior fellowship from India's Ministry of Culture, and an honorary fellow for South Korea's Department of Culture. Nirupama Dutt is a poet, columnist, and translator, writing in English and Punjabi. Her recent works include the biography of Punjab's Dalit icon, The Ballad of Bansing, and a translation into English of Gulzar's anthology of poetry, Pluto. She has published several books of poetry and prose.
For the Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Poetry Award 2021 to Dr. Anamika. Dr. Anamika, who has won the Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia Poetry Award 2021, is an eminent Hindi poet, fiction writer, translator, literary critic both in Hindi and English, a noted academic, and a passionate advocate of women's equality in all realms of activity. Born on 17 August 1961 in Muzaffarpur, Bihar, as the daughter of the well-known poet Shyam Nandan Kishore, Anamika has said that her father was, I quote, her first teacher in poetry. Every night he would put her to bed singing songs or reading out poems from celebrated anthologies like the ones published by Penguin, PPH, Jnanpith, Chaukhamba, and Motilal Banarsidas, which were still lying on his table in that big library of his, with multiple notes in his beautiful handwriting on each page. Quotes close. Her poems are so full of reverberations and her images so layered basically because of this deep reading backed up by her simultaneous exposure to all kinds of classical and oral traditions. She earned this deadly juxtaposition of the Videshak registers through her informal chit-chat, first with the little great subaltern women who came to see her mother, and then with the ones she befriended in the different rooms of the PG Women's Hostel at the University of Delhi. I quote again, where she stayed in times when, with the seeds of universal sisterhood sown in their hearts, women too had started feeling like world citizens. Quotes close. Women in distress triggered her vivid imagination, and at different fronts she started portraying and positioning the sad lot of Indian women across centuries. Her best received work was the trilogy woven around the characters of Pandita Ramabai, the courtesan Dahalabai, and her descendants Ronu, Mira, and Tara, who insightfully trace the meaning of mukti in its different registers. Movingly, the trilogy portrays how from salvation to liberation, from the divine call phenomenon to the call center and the call girl phenomenon, how mukti travels a long way through the three phases of the pre-independent, independent, and globalized India. Anamika has a PhD and DLit in English and another PhD in Hindi. Throughout her college education, she had passed her degrees with first class and first rank. Now she is an associate professor in Sethiaji College, Delhi University, teaching translation, contemporary poetry, and gender criticism. He is also a research supervisor with several scholars following different topics in Western and Indian literatures, and a UGC fellow at Teen Murti, working on the dissertation titled Mothering a Nation, the Proto-Feminist Rearing of Icons Born in the Early 20th Century. She has 7 collections of poems such as Galat Pate Ki Chiti, Samay Ke Shahar Mein, Vijakshar, Anushtup, Kavida Mein Aurat, Khurduri Hatiliyan, Doob Dhan, and Pani Ko Sab Yaad Tha. As a poet, she is especially noted for her insights into the modern women's psyche, but also for her delightful intertextual chit-chat with archetypal figures like the 10 Mahavidyas, Bhamati, Sita, Radha, Ragnavali, Ahilya, Amrapali, and other Buddhist nuns, Mirabai, Bahinabai, Rabia Fakir, and other Bhakt and Sufi poets. Transplanting them into contemporary context, she insightfully opens up an entire world of new sensibility and positive energy. Her appeal among the younger generations of poets and other writers is tremendous. It is verily an icon of accomplishment and a role model for poets in these times. Her poems have been translated into English, Russian, Norwegian, Japanese, Korean, Malayalam, Bangla, Odia, and Punjabi. Her fictional work, Ainasas, built around the life and times of Amir Khusro, also has won wide acclaim. Her other fictional works and memoirs are Pratinayak, Abantar Katha, Ek To Shahar Tha, Ek Tha Shakespeare, Ek Te Charles Dickens, Das Dware Ka Pinjra, and Tinga Tinge Pass. Her collection of essays, Sahityaka Lokpaksha, has received critical acclaim. She has authored 16 more prose works in Hindi and in English, containing her pioneering literary criticism and on poetics, contemporary literary history, pedagogy, and general politics. Her book, Feminist Poetics, Where Kingfishers Catch Fire, in 2008, and several subsequent works were trailblazers in women's writing in the 21st century. She also has several essays and papers published in international and national journals, and she has contributed to significant anthologies. She has a few more books coming up in Hindi and English by way of poetry collections, fiction, critical writing, etc. It is on this extraordinary poet and versatile writer that the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Poetry Award of 2021 is being bestowed.
Thank you so much, Mr. A.J. Thomas. Thank you so much, Nirupama Dutt, for being part of the jury of the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award for Poetry and being part of this process. It's now our great honor to invite Minister of Jal Shakti and Water Resources, Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, to give away the award and to say a few words.
Namaskar everyone. I would like to offer my gratitude to the organizers for inviting me to this August gathering. It was a dry summer day in southern India, the eventful year being 5200 BC, a year like no other, when the Mesopotamia civilization was taking its first step in counting. Ancient India was giving words to the mysteries of the cosmos in 5200 BC in the temple city of Madurai. It is told that 16,000 authors and poets had gathered for what went on to become the first ever literature festival in the world, the Sangam Conference. Not only was this the oldest ever literature festival, but it was also one of the largest even by modern standards. Such was the importance of literature festivals that myths speak of Lord Shiva, Lord Murugan, and Lord Kartikeya descending down from their abodes during the first Sangam conference. Ancient India was a land of seekers, the band of people eager to give words to their spiritual experiences of this life and beyond. Jaipur Literature Festival is not only the cream de la cream of literature festivals of the world, it is also a proud flag bearer of the great Indian tradition of literature festivals. As I soak myself in the rich words of the great writers and thinkers present here, I can't but be excited to see the great traditions of this country being upheld by this heartwarming effort. The great writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez used the concept of magical realism. In his Nobel-winning book, 100 Years of Solitude, he spoke of the Vivendia family, who are often struck by unusual events. One of them being the plague of insomnia. In many ways, the word of the great writer mirrors the pandemic plague world of today. A strange sense of magical realism has also crept into our lives, has invaded our souls. The world had been cooped up in their homes, much like the fictional town of Macondo. The world awaited that snap of fingers which would break the hypnotizing spell of the pandemic ridden year. The JL of 2021 is that snapping of fingers. This year's festival is a welcome respite from a year long spell of isolation. The words have mingled again and formed sentences, and the ideas have fused together to become movements. I congratulate the persevering team of Jaipur Literature Festival of having achieved this Herculean feat. As the greatest rock artist of our times, the lead vocalist of the band Queen, Freddie Mercury, had once crooned in his signature tone, I will top the bills, I will overkill, I will have the will to carry on, but the show will go on, the show will go on. For everyone present here in the Jaipur Literature Festival, maybe virtually, may the show go on and on. I feel honored to have been asked to say a few words for this year's Mahakavi Kanhaiyalal Sethia awardee, Dr. Anamika. Mahakavi Sethiaji's words have become emblematic to the Rajasthani culture. His phrase, Dharti Dhurari, is as true to Rajasthan culture as spice is to Rajasthani food or desert is to Rajasthani land. Through her works, Dr. Anamika had been able to accentuate the emotions that a woman feels in a society tilted in favor of the opposite gender. Her poetry seamlessly peels the surface of a make-believe world to expose the withering heart of societal reality. From her despair emerges a sense of anger, followed by a sense of urgency, and finally a sense of triumph. This award is an acknowledgement for her contribution to feminist literature. A beautiful sentence from her poem, बेजगह है, reads like this: सारे संदर्भों के पार मुश्किल से उड़कर पहुंची हूं, ऐसी ही समझी पढ़ी जाऊं जैसे तुकाराम का कोई अधूरा अभंग. It is an emotional ode to the woman in this country, who even after crossing all obstacles still feels that incompleteness of being. Her words have the power to leap from the pages and gathers in the memory of her readers. I congratulate her for the awards and wish her that her pen keeps on scribbling, her words keep on motivating, and her genius keep on shining. Thank you very much and wish you all good luck.
It is our great honor now to make this presentation to the poet of the day, Anamika. May I please invite you to say a few words on this occasion, and also please read some of your works for us and our audiences. Her poems Khurduri Hatelia, Doob Dhan and Tokri Mein Digant are prescribed at national universities. Her novels Das Dware Ka Pinjara and Tinke Tinke Paas have been staged as major productions in Marathi and Malayalam. Both her poems, as well as her essay on feminist discourse in Hindi, have been translated into several Indian and international languages. Her English publications include Transplanting British Poetry in Indian Classrooms, Post-War Women Poets, Treatment of Love and Death, Feminist Poetics, Where Kingfishers Catch Fire, Translating Racial Memory, and Weaving a Nation. Anamika, many congratulations. We're absolutely honored to be able to present the Kanhaiyalal Sethia Award at the 14th Jaipur Literature Festival to you.
Thank you, Sanjoy. My heartfelt thanks to Namita Gokhale, A.J. Thomas, and Nirupama Dutt for keeping faith in poetry alive and also expressing so much of trust in women's writing. A heartfelt thanks also to the Sethia family for linking up younger people to the great tradition of Rajasthani poetry. Poetry has done so much in the field of awakening not only the consciousness but also the notion of beyondness that connects the world of matter to the world of higher inspirations. Now, creating subliminal bridges like this can mean a lot to people who are losing their spirits in this world full of challenges. Thank you so much. I'll read the original and some of the translations for the wider audience. The first poem is called Namak. नमक दुख है धरती का और उसका स्वाद भी। धरती का 3 भाग नमकीन पानी है और आदमी का दिल नमक का पहाड़। कमज़ोर है दिल नमक का, कितनी जल्दी पसीज जाता है, गड़ जाता है शर्म से जब फेंकी जाती हैं थालियाँ दाल में नमक कम या ज़रा तेज़ होने पर। वो जो खड़े हैं ना सरकारी दफ्तर, शाही नमकदान है, बड़ी नफासत से छिड़क देते हैं हरदम हमारे जले पर नमक। जिनके चेहरे पर नमक है, पूछिए उन औरतों से कितना भारी पड़ता है उनको उनके चेहरे का नमक। जिन्हें नमक की कीमत करनी होती है अदा, उन नमक हलालों से रंज रहता है महासागर। दुनिया में होने न दी उन्होंने क्रांतियाँ, रहम खा गए दुश्मनों पर। गांधी जी जानते थे नमक की कीमत और अमरूदों वाली मुनिया भी। दुनिया में कुछ और रहे न रहे, रहेगा नमक, ईश्वर के आंसू और आदमी का पसीना। यही वो नमक है कि जिससे थिराई रहेगी ये दुनिया। And this one was written for a new father, my student. You may walk into the labor room and witness the birth you have invited, said the doctor. And I, the prospective father, sneaked in. At the pinnacle of pain, she smiled to explain, look what a dimension I have gained. 2 hearts beat within me. With a double pair of eyes, I look straight into the eyes of Mahakal, the Lord of Death. And then spreading wide upon the earth, with her writhing legs, she pushed the hills away. Her breath soared high and woods shivered. The bed bathed in her rainbow splendor. And then I did remember, pouring my morning tea, she would look at the sky. If we have a daughter, she will anyway be fine. But a son needs to be worked upon, my dear. Help me curb his natural aggression, his baby fat of anger and desire needs to melt. Mild like a morning sun he needs to be. No scorching rays like yours cutting through the ozone layer. The earth will now deliver a son of a different timber, a delicate blend of elements which would wear the gloom of the world like a tender touch of coal in his dream moist eyes. And then, when she shivered with the milk fever, the cosmos swung like a cradle to and forth. Often, her mumblings remind me of my own mother. Her dreams too had the similar fiber. Swinging me on her toes, Ma would sing, "May my son rise high like a wall up to the sky." But why like a wall? May my boy rise in a world without walls. See for yourself then, on the toes of a new mother rises the new man high, beyond man-made boundaries. In centuries' flowers, one delicate desire, the tender fight of a singular dream, is such a long, arduous journey.
Thank you so much, Anamika ji, for that beautiful rendition of your poetry. These were really touching and went deep into every pore of our being. Thank you, A.J. Thomas and Nirupama Dutt and members of our jury. Thank you, Namita Gokhale. And of course, thank you, Jayaprakash Sethia and Siddharth Sethia for making this award possible and bringing it to us at the Jaipur Literature Festival. Thank you all for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next session. Please remember, stay locked on, watch the music stage, travel between the Darbar Hall and front lawn, spread the word and use our Twitter handle at Jaipur Lit Fest and of course our hashtag Jaipur Literature Festival 20.